As soon as we parked, we went straight up to the roof of the garage to watch the SpaceX launch that was happening 5 minutes after we parked. And on top of that, we got to see the return booster, which you can see here, which was pretty cool. Now we're all checked in and through security, going through the terminal, waiting for our boarding group to get called so we can go ahead and get on board the ship.
Aboard Kurt and CJ!
Just got access to our room after having a nice lunch in Cabanas. So doing a quick room tour here. The bathroom is split. You have toilet and a sink in the first bathroom, and the second bathroom in this particular stateroom is an upgraded bathroom because it is a family size veranda stateroom, which includes the rainfall shower head up top. And there's another sink in this bathroom as well. This room is larger than the normal deluxe veranda stateroom. It's the largest stateroom you can get aside from having a suite level room. There's a lot of storage space in this room, and in addition to the main bed, the sofa also converts into a bed. It has a pull-down bunk above that, and right next to it another pull-down bed. So I believe this stateroom can sleep up to 5. And there's a mini fridge here under the TV. And because this stateroom is longer than the traditional staterooms, there's additional storage towards the right over by where the veranda door is. There's plenty of outlets in this stateroom. There's USB outlets as well. Had no problem finding enough places to charge all of my electronics for this trip. And normal sized veranda compared to some of the other staterooms. It's not, I wouldn't say it's any larger than a normal veranda stateroom itself, but the stateroom itself is definitely much longer than a traditional deluxe veranda. Muster drill is done. Now off to the sail away party where we get to watch the ship leave Port Canaveral, and after that we'll be going down to the main atrium for the tree lighting ceremony in a little bit.
Would you like to see them? Yeah. Well, Disney Fantasy, put your hands together as we welcome our tree lighting hosts for the evening, Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse!
Happy holidays, everyone!
Oh, Mickey, the ship is so beautiful! I just love spending these magical holidays at sea!
Me too, Minnie. Why, it's almost time to create some very merry magic with our holiday tree. Is everybody ready to help us out?
Yay!
Great!
Hey, don't forget about me! Happy holidays, everybody! Wow! Oh, hey, check out that tree! It sure is pretty! Oh!
Oh, Mickey, this is such an exciting time of year. All the festivals and the decorations, the holiday cheer, and it's so much fun spending time with all our friends and our family.
You said it! It's the perfect time for a holiday sing-along!
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Well, here's one I think everybody will know.
Now don't be shy.
tree, oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches. Your shining sun and twinkling lights, they gently glow throughout the night. Oh Christmas tree, how lovely are your branches.
Well, the evening moment has arrived. How about a holiday countdown?
You bet! Here we go!
'So here we have CJ starting a trend of ordering every dessert on the menu every night. Now, I didn't realize this until I started reviewing the footage afterwards, but you see the little girl up there? I'm wondering if she's going to be another performer for Disney in the future, because she's definitely putting on a show. Here we are, one of the first silent DJ parties on board. They seem to have one almost every night around 11 o'clock. The only issue is it typically only ran either 45 minutes or an hour, which in my opinion isn't long enough to really, have a couple drinks and start getting into it. It's by the time it starts going, it's over. But it was pretty cool. There were 3 different channels, green, blue, and red, and each one was playing a different track. But I found most of the people were all switching to the same track, which was the popular one that you usually hear singing in the background. You didn't get a lot of the multiple different people singing out loud, but there were a few one-offs that would not follow the channel switching that everybody else was doing. But yeah, it was definitely fun. Good time.
Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. You took the midnight train going anywhere. You smell wine and cheap perfume. So it's well that you share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Strangers waiting up and down the boulevard. There's shadows searching in the night.
Here's CJ getting all the foods once again. He didn't seem too thrilled with me about taking these, but it definitely became a thing. Here CJ got to meet his favorite princess, and he was so starstruck he didn't know what to say. CJ trying escargot for the first time says it tastes like spinach. He only ordered most of the desserts on the menu tonight, not all of them. Still not quite sure what this towel animal is supposed to be. Any ideas? Here we are arriving in Tortola. It was beautiful, but I do have quite a story to tell regarding how my day went before and during the excursion that we had in Virgin Gorda. Basically, the day started out, I thought, relatively fine. We had everything prepared the night before, had our backpacks ready. We went to breakfast, thought everything was still good. Went down to meet our tour group in the Walt Disney Theater, which is on deck 3 at the very front of the ship. Meanwhile, where we had breakfast and our stateroom is at the very top of the ship at the back. So while we're sitting in the theater, I'm looking for my phone and I can't find it. And I'm pretty sure I had brought it with me, so double check my bag again, wasn't in there. So I asked the cast member, hey, do you mind if I go back to my stateroom really quick and check to see if I can find my phone? I think I lost it. She's like, well, yeah, sure, but you have to get back before 8 a.m. Otherwise the tour group will leave without you. Meanwhile, it's like 7 minutes to 8 at this point. So I literally run up 8 flights of stairs, run all the way to the back of the ship, go into the stateroom. I have like 15 seconds to check for my phone. Can't find it. Run all the way back down the ship, run all the way back down 8 more flights of stairs. By this point, I'm a little sweaty, a little out of breath. The ship is pretty big, so it took a while to run all that distance. And on top of it, I still don't have my phone. So now at this point, I have a decision to make. I have to either stay on the ship, try to locate my phone. It's a brand new phone I had just got, $1,000 phone, and I only got it a couple weeks ago, and I was really worried about what I'd have to do to replace it. Or I could continue on the excursion and hope that somebody had turned my phone in. I was pretty sure I had it in my swim shorts pocket, so it must have fallen out during breakfast. So I'm hoping somebody would turn it in, but I had no time left to be able to go back up to Cabanas where we had breakfast and see if my phone was there. So ultimately I decided to go ahead and go on the excursion. Not gonna lie, it was a little bit stressful having to worry about that, especially on a long boat ride to Virgin Gorda. It was 40 minutes. Sat and thought about it the whole time. Fortunately, once I was at Virgin Gorda, the sights and scenery was really beautiful. I regret not having my phone, but thanks to CJ, I was able to share all these photos with you. But to end the story, basically, after we got back from the excursion, we got back on the ship. I went straight to the room to maybe it was still there. CJ went to guest services and had them check lost and found, and they actually had my phone. So I was able to get my phone back. Thankfully, somebody was kind enough to turn it in, but oh my gosh, what an experience that was. So the first stop on our excursion was here at Devil's Bay. It's the first beach of the 2 that you get to visit on the excursion that we did. It's beautiful here. It's not a very big beach, but that's fine. It wasn't too busy. The big issue was we only really had 30 minutes to be able to enjoy it before we had to move to the next part, which was the caves, which you'll be seeing next. But absolutely loved it. It was gorgeous. The water was crystal clear. You could see straight to the bottom. It was great. Very, very beautiful here. So now we're just entering the caves here at Virgin Gorda in the Baths. It was very beautiful. I will say, if you are not physically able to climb or squeeze or bend very easily, I wouldn't recommend this. Otherwise, highly recommend this. This was great. Never seen anything quite like this. The granite boulders are formations from volcanic activity a long time ago. The ocean weaves its way in and out. It never gets any deeper than, I would say, much over your ankle, maybe knee deep at the deepest, but very, very beautiful. There are some tight areas you kind of have to work your way through or use like a rope or a ladder to get through, but definitely a lot of fun.
Huh? I don't want to get lost.
Now, as you can hear CJ say there, he doesn't want to get lost. He was a little nervous down here. Of course, neither one of us have ever seen anything like this, but it would be kind of hard to get lost after going through this whole thing. There are arrows to tell you which way to go, but even if you went the wrong way, you'd really have to try hard to get off the path, because the walkway is pretty clear. There's areas you can obviously tell that are not part of that walkway. So I would say, if you're going on this, don't worry about getting lost. Kind of take your time. That's probably one of my biggest regrets, is not taking enough time to really enjoy the scenery.
Whew.
are at the second beach, and CJ is having his little mermaid moment on this rock. This beach we had a little bit more time at, I'd say 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour. There's a little area off to the side you can explore a little bit, but it's gorgeous here.
I'm doing it.
You'll be fine.
So for this next clip, CJ makes his second attempt to go underwater and the ocean says no and throws him back up on the rock in a seated position. I wish I would have been able to film it. It was hilarious watching him slide back up onto the rock. I laughed so hard, it was great. Alright, so at this point our beach time was over. We had to head back up a separate trail that goes back up to the transportation that'll take us back to the boat, which the boat will then ferry us back to the ship. On this trail, it's about a 5-minute walk back up. It's a little bit steeper, but there's stairs along the way. Than the trip down the mountainside was. But you could see some of Virgin Gorda on the way back here, and then we get back on the ship to find my phone, which was in my previous story, and then we got off the ship briefly after that to explore Tortola itself. Now at the port of Tortola there's only a handful of stores. There really wasn't a whole lot there. From what I was told, you actually have to take a taxi to the downtown area to experience more shopping. So I feel like Tortola is definitely a place that you either want to take a taxi and do something, or go somewhere, or go to one of the other beaches, or you want to have an excursion of some sort. Alright, back on the ship from Tortola, and it's Pirates Night aboard the ship tonight. Here we have CJ doing his little hook impression. And so there's two shows. There's one before dinner, and they just do a thing that I think is a little bit more for kids than anybody. And then after you go to dinner, regardless of which restaurant you're in, everybody gets the Pirates of the Caribbean menu tonight, and then they do this show, which happens after everyone's done with dinner for the evening. They have Captain Jack come down and they launch some fireworks off the side of the ship.
new crew is ready for inspection.
Right. Now, excuse me out there.
This here be Pirate Natalie.
Robert Matthews, what do you think I ought to do with the lazy pirate?
She says make them pay for her next cruise.
Take what you can give enough from that. Now, you, what is your name?
Magnificent man. Magnificent man.
Magnificent man. What do you think I ought to do with the lazy pirate?
Make them clean my stateroom. Oh!
Thanks. I'll leave you to it then. You, what is your name?
This here's Pirate Ryan, Captain.
Pirate Ryan. So what do you think I ought to do with the lazy pirate?
Make them walk the planks out.
Straight to the point. I like the lady thing. So now, who are you?
This be Pirate Chase.
Pirate Jason. What do you think I ought to do with the lazy pirate?
Make them swab the deck.
Oh, Daniel David. Always a good choice.
All right, well, what do you think, Captain?
They seem possible.
All right, let's begin. Hit it, Dad. Everyone, let's keep that energy going. Put your hands together. Put up the board.
Make them pay for my next cruise. 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 Early in the morning. Way
So this ends the night at Tortola and Pirate Night on the ship. Again, we have a towel animal. I think it's a monkey, not quite sure.
Sweet words of wisdom, let it be. Oh, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. 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 Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
So this is the day we arrived in St. Thomas, did some shopping around in the Haven site shopping location by the pier, and then walked over to the gondolas and took a gondola up to the top of Paradise Point. Took some great pictures while we were up there and had a drink at Paradise Point. Made our way back down to the ship and got back on board for the day and said goodbye to St. Thomas. I love this map behind guest services. They have a map of the world that has all the castles where the parks are located throughout the world, including some of the cruise ships. And here we are pulling into Castaway Key. This is by far one of my favorite islands I've been to out of countless cruises I've been on. This is number 9 with Disney. I absolutely love coming here, but that's kind of funny that Bob Chapek is no longer going to be on that sign. I wonder how long it'll take them to fix that, since the news right after we got back from the cruise that he's no longer with the Disney company, so be glad to see that go. Anyways, the weather started out pretty good, and then as we got past lunch, it started to get a little bit cloudier and the winds picked up a bit, so the adult beach, the waves were kicking up the sand quite a bit, so the water wasn't as clear as it usually is. But otherwise it was a great time. Did some snorkeling, which you'll see in a bit, and this is the bike trails that we took to get to this lookout point. Here's the adult beach, Serenity Bay. Again, one of my favorite places to be. The water was a little less clear than usual, but it wasn't bad by any stretch. So last night on the ship, took a couple of remaining pictures. There were a lot of pictures we didn't get to take because of areas like the rainforest room where we did spend a lot of time on this cruise. It's just not appropriate to really bring a camera in there into the spa, but it was amazing. I love the rainforest room. And here we are on our last breakfast, waiting to get off the ship. It was a great time.